In the heart of Manhattan, where glass towers pierced the sky and luxury cars lined the streets, stood the prestigious Grand Crest Bank, a haven for the city's elite. Its marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers, and the air carried the subtle scent of expensive cologne mixed with leather briefcases. On a crisp autumn afternoon, the bank buzzed with its usual clientele, suited executives, heiresses in designer outfits, and high-profile investors conducting multimillion-dollar transactions. Among them was Alexander Harrington, a self-made millionaire in his mid-40s, known for his sharp business acumen and even sharper tongue. Dressed in a tailored Tom Ford suit, he leaned against the priority counter, finalizing a wire transfer for his latest real estate acquisition. Alexander had built his fortune from nothing, starting as a stock trader in his 20s and climbing to the top through ruthless deals and unwavering confidence. He prided himself on reading people, spotting opportunists from a mile away, and he rarely missed an opportunity to assert his superiority. The line for regular customers snaked nearby, but Alexander paid it little mind until a young woman caught his eye. She couldn't have been more than 25, with faded jeans, a worn coat that had seen better days, and scuffed sneakers that whispered of long walks on city sidewalks. Her dark hair was pulled into a simple ponytail, and she carried a small, threadbare backpack. She clutched a bank card in her hand, staring at the ATM in the corner as if debating whether to use it. Finally, she approached one of the tellers at the counter adjacent to Alexander's. The teller, a young man named Carlos, looked up politely. "How can I help you today?" The woman hesitated, her voice soft but steady. "I just want to see my balance." Alexander overheard and couldn't suppress a chuckle. He glanced over, sizing her up instantly. To him, she looked like someone scraping by, perhaps a student or a low-wage worker, the type who lived paycheck to paycheck. The idea of her having anything substantial in the bank amused him. He leaned closer, smirking. "Just the balance, huh? Bold choice in a place like this." The woman turned slightly, meeting his gaze with quiet dignity. Her eyes were a deep brown, holding a depth that Alexander dismissed as mere exhaustion. "Yes," she replied simply. "That's all." Carlos, sensing potential awkwardness, nodded professionally and took her card. "Of course, miss. I'll need your PIN and some ID." She provided them without fuss, sliding over a driver's license that showed her name, Elena Ramirez. Alexander watched, his laughter bubbling up again. He turned to his own private banker, who was wrapping up his transaction, and muttered loudly enough for others to hear, "Some people come in here dreaming big. Just want to see my balance, as if it's going to be life-changing." A few nearby clients snickered politely, accustomed to Alexander's bravado. Elena stood patiently, ignoring the commentary, her hands clasped in front of her. Carlos swiped the card and typed in the details. The screen loaded for a moment, then displayed the account overview. His eyes widened slightly, but he composed himself. "Here you are, Ms. Ramirez. Would you like a printout?" Elena leaned in to view the monitor. Alexander, curiosity piqued by the teller's subtle reaction, craned his neck shamelessly. "What's the damage?" $50. 100 if you're lucky." He laughed outright this time, drawing more attention. Elena didn't respond, but as the numbers appeared clearly on the screen, far larger than anyone expected, Alexander's laughter began to falter. The screen glowed with the account details, a balance of $48.7 million, nestled in various high-yield investments, trusts, and offshore holdings. Beneath it, linked accounts showed even more, properties, stocks, and bonds accumulated over years. Carlos cleared his throat. "Everything appears in order, Ms. Ramirez. Quite impressive, if I may say." Alexander's smirk vanished. He stared, mouth slightly agape, as the reality sank in. This unassuming woman, whom he had just mocked, was wealthier than he could have imagined, far surpassing his own net worth, which hovered around $15 million after taxes and expenditures. Elena nodded calmly. "Thank you. Yes, a printout would be helpful." She accepted the slip without fanfare, folding it neatly into her backpack. Alexander stammered, his face flushing red. Wait, that can't be right. There must be a mistake. How? Elena turned to him fully now, her expression neutral but with a hint of steel. No mistake, Mr. Harrington. I've heard of you, your name comes up in certain circles. He blinked, caught off guard. You know who I am. Of course. Your real estate flips, your venture capital plays. Impressive, for someone who started later in life. Her tone was matter of fact, devoid of sarcasm, which made it sting more. The bank lobby had gone quieter, patrons pretending not to eavesdrop while straining to hear. Alexander's private banker raised an eyebrow, sensing the shift in power. Elena continued softly. My wealth isn't from trading or deals. It came from my grandfather, a quiet inventor who patented technologies decades ago. He lived simply, gave anonymously, and left it all in trust until I turned 25 last month. I grew up modest because that's how he wanted it. No spoiling, no spotlight. Alexander swallowed hard, his earlier arrogance crumbling. He had always judged people by appearances, a habit that served him in boardrooms but failed spectacularly here. I apologize. That was rude of me. She smiled faintly, the first real emotion showing. Apology accepted. We all make assumptions sometimes. As she turned to leave, Alexander called after her. Wait, could I buy you a coffee? I'd like to hear more about your grandfather's story. Maybe learn something. Elena paused at the door, considering. Perhaps another time. Today, I just wanted to see my balance, for the first time with full access. She stepped out into the bustling street, blending seamlessly with the crowd despite the fortune now at her fingertips. Alexander watched her go, a mix of embarrassment and admiration washing over him. For years, he had chased money as the measure of success, laughing at those he deemed beneath him. That day changed him. He began researching quiet philanthropists, re-evaluating his flashy lifestyle. Months later, he crossed paths with Elena again at a charity gala, where she was the anonymous donor funding half the event. They spoke at length, and a genuine friendship formed, rooted in mutual respect. Alexander often reflected on that afternoon, how a simple request and a glowing screen humbled him profoundly. True wealth, he learned, wasn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes, it walked in wearing scuffed sneakers, speaking softly, and leaving egos in its wake.